This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Tonight, fire ban. An HRM councillor is calling for an all-out end to open fires during the wildfire season. Climate emergencies. Volunteer fire departments say more funding is needed for them to keep people safe. And making the switch. Halifax ponders a program to convert old offices into new apartments.
Some lingering drizzle and fog patches tonight into early Tuesday, then we're clearing and warming. A beautiful day shaping up. Your full forecast is coming up.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a developing story in the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas. Hamas said today it has accepted a Gaza ceasefire proposal brokered by Egypt and Qatar. Israel is apparently considering its response and in the meantime is continuing military operations in Rafah. Israel launched airstrikes on Rafah today as it ordered one section of the city evacuated. Israel has ordered about 100,000 people to leave an eastern part of Rafah and move to what it describes as a humanitarian zone nearby. An army spokesperson says Israel is preparing a limited scope operation against Hamas in Rafah. Israel has consistently signaled its intention to launch a ground invasion in Rafah, saying it needed to ensure the destruction of Hamas, the Islamist group that governs Gaza. U.S. President Joe Biden told the Israeli Prime Minister today that a ceasefire is the best way to protect Israeli hostages held in Gaza, and we'll have more on this developing story a little later in the broadcast. Turning now to local news, and after last year's unprecedented wildfire season in Nova Scotia, a Halifax councillor thinks the city should be doing more. Around 150 homes were destroyed last May when a wildfire ripped through Upper Tantallon. Now there's a call to consider a ban on all open fires in the HRM during wildfire season. Taryn Grant reports.
Around this time last year, the province saw some of its biggest and most devastating wildfires in memory. And now we're in the peak of another wildfire season. It's with those things in mind that Councillor Catherine Morse is bringing a motion to Halifax City Hall.
Just the extent of the disaster we saw last year, I think, means we have to do more to recognize the risks, the new risks under the new weather conditions that we're facing, and to see what more we can do.
She wants staff to look into a ban on open fires from mid-March to mid-October. What would count as an open fire?
Essentially, we don't want to see burning of brush, burning of grass, that sort of burning that's happened traditionally in the past.
It could also include backyard fires, but Morse says she'd leave it up to the experts to come up with a definition. Kara McCurdy says a full-on fire ban would have benefits, but it would have drawbacks too.
Campfires and burning brush to me is important because it reduces fuel load and it reduces that risk around properties.
McCurdy says rather than not burning at all, people need to burn smart.
You know, if we're lighting a pile of brush, we're not taking off and going to the grocery store and leaving it burning unattended. If people are going to have a campfire or a brush pile, that they put it out cold, that right after they're done with it. That way they're not having to worry about any wind picking up and carrying any fire embers into the woods.
Councillors will vote on Morse's motion this week, deciding whether it goes ahead for a staff report. Taryn Grant, CBC News, Halifax.
As the one-year anniversary of the Nova Scotia flash floods approaches, volunteer fire departments say they need more money to afford essential equipment to help during climate emergencies. As Meg Campbell tells us, it's crucial for departments in rural communities that rely solely on government funding.
So this solid hull went in and, they picked up 7 people out of the water and they rescued a dog that was also, in one of the vehicles with the family.
This boat helped Barb Taylor's Walton Shore Volunteer Fire Department save 7 lives last summer when 250 millimeters of rain fell and flash floods claimed 4 lives. She says she's not sure what they would have done without it.
It's better than getting the call, which we've done, for a water rescue and not having a watercraft. And you can go and you can sit and you can watch with your binoculars, but there isn't anything you can do.
Last July 21st, Nova Scotia saw some of the worst flooding this province has ever seen. Taylor says some fire departments did not have rescue boats and had to rely on neighboring departments.
You can't rule out any department needing one. Not with the the climate change and the weather. It's just not predictable.
But boats like hers aren't cheap. This one was about $140,000, including radio equipment and training. And not all departments can fork out that kind of money without help. There is some government funding, but it's rarely enough.
It's always a struggle, and I'm pretty safe in saying all teams are fundraising for one thing or another. We do apply for grants through the municipalities if we have a project, and then we rely on the province for some funding. And right now we're looking at getting an increase. We haven't had an increase in 15 years.
23 Nova Scotia Search, Ground and Rescue units are also in the same boat, so to speak. They're short on equipment too, and they can apply for a grant worth $3,000 once every year.
We very much rely on the fire department with their boats.
The minister responsible for the Department of Emergency Management, John Lohr, says after last week's cabinet meeting that the province is willing to help volunteer responders.
I mean, we'll continue to work with our volunteers, continue to talk with them. Certainly, we're going to move forward and look at what they need.
But flood season will soon be upon us, and Taylor won't soon forget how that boat became such a vital piece of equipment last summer. And as she looks to the future and the risk of more floods, she has equipment upkeep at the top of her mind.
We do fundraising all year long for not just this, but all projects. There's just never enough money to do with what you'd like.
And never any way of knowing when another emergency will happen. Meg Campbell, CBC News, Walton Shore.
A male youth was in court today facing multiple charges, including attempted murder, after an assault yesterday at a home on Prospect Bay Road. First responders were called to a weapons complaint in the small community outside Halifax just after 9 o'clock Sunday morning. RCMP say when officers arrived, they found a 42-year-old man suffering from multiple stab wounds after an argument with a male youth whom he knows. The man was taken to hospital but is expected to survive. There have been several tragic deaths on Nova Scotia roads this past week. Emergency crews responded to a two-vehicle crash in Antigonish County Sunday afternoon that killed one person and injured 6 others. RCMP say a Toyota RAV4 and GMC were traveling in opposite directions on Highway 7 in Lochaber when they collided head-on. The passenger of the GMC, a 70-year-old woman, died at the scene. The driver, a 74-year-old man, was flown to hospital with life-threatening injuries. Both were from Bickerton West. 5 occupants of the Toyota, 2 men, a woman, and 2 children, all suffered serious injuries and were taken to hospital. They were all from Antigonish. And RCMP say 2 men were riding an ATV on a dirt road parallel to Highway 16 off South Merland Road when it crashed and rolled over Saturday evening. The passenger, a 53-year-old man from Antigonish, was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver, a 62-year-old man from Upper Big Trackety, was seriously injured and flown to hospital. And an 18-year-old is dead after a single-car crash last week. RCMP released details of that incident over the weekend. They say it happened around 10 o'clock Wednesday night on Highway 289 in Middle Stewiacke. Police say the car was traveling northbound when it left the road and flipped, landing on its roof. The driver, who was alone in the vehicle, was taken to hospital where he died of his injuries. Nova Scotia's Minister of Health told a gathering of roughly 250 nurses to be kind to those who were coming to the province to practice the profession. They were taking part in the Nova Scotia Nurses Union annual general meeting in Truro today. And according to the minister, more than 1,000 nurses have applied for their license to practice in the province. Most are from other provinces, but there's a sizable portion of foreign-trained nurses looking to work in Nova Scotia. The health minister says it's important they all feel welcome and supported by their colleagues.
We do have a saying in nursing that nurses eat their own. You could see in the room that resonated with a number of folks, but when we have to talk about that to understand it. And I do think things are getting better, but we have to continue to talk about it and challenge ourselves to be more inclusive and kind in the profession.
Thompson says she remembers how difficult it was for her as a foreign-trained nurse when she worked in Scotland for a brief period when she started her career. Workload among nurses is another big topic at the union's annual general meeting. They complain that many hospital units are severely understaffed, but recently added language in their newest labor contract around guaranteed minimum staffing levels is offering hope. Janet Hazelton is the president of the Nova Scotia Nurses Union.
It's something we can hold them accountable to. But more importantly, the second guarantee that came with it is if nurses on a particular unit feel that that decision to have those many nurses is not enough, they need more help, they'll be able to fill out forms. The investigation will happen, which will include them. And then a recommendation will go to a decision-making committee, which I will be part of, that will look at potentially increasing nursing staff. That is a much better way than what we used to have.
I'll talk to Janet Hazelton of the Nova Scotia Nurses Union about staffing levels and how to maintain them. That's our Newsmaker interview just after 6:30. Ryan Snoddon with us now on what's been a damp one, but we appreciate that, don't we, Ryan?
We certainly do. Much needed, not a lot of rain. In fact, less than 5 millimeters across the board. But again, just the fact that we had a little bit will help to green things up, not only with the grass, but on the Nova Scotia burn ban as well. And you can see almost all in green now, which means burning is allowed between 2 p.m. and 8 a.m., except for Inverness County. Now, again, this will likely change over the next couple of days because we're going to dry out again. And again, it wasn't really a lot of rain, which is now clearing out. We've got some clearing skies, isolated chance for some showers and drizzle overnight tonight into tomorrow morning for Inverness County. Drizzle kind of across the board with some fog patches tonight, but an area of high pressure moving in is going to warm us up, and what a beauty we have shaping up for Tuesday. Temperatures widespread, ranging between 14 and 18 degrees. The warmest temps obviously are going to be inland, could crack 20 in places like Bridgewater, even into the metro area. Will be a little bit cooler in those onshore winds, no question about that, but it's going to be lovely. Now, another nice day shaping up for Wednesday, which again is why I think we'll likely see some changes on that Nova Scotia burn ban website, and we'll have to be careful for the next couple of days. The good news is really that we're looking at a more substantial shot of some wet weather towards the end of the week, and that will begin on Thursday. A couple of systems that are going to track through Thursday and then even into the Friday time period, as well as Saturday. It looks like we'll kind of end the week on a wet and damp note, Tom, but the good news is, again, we need the rain, and the latter half of the weekend looking a little drier. We'll break that down with your 7-day forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Hopefully something for everyone there.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks so much, Ryan.
Thank you.
Well, with low vacancy rates across the country, it's pretty hard to find a rental these days unless that rental is for downtown office space. Many cities are seeing commercial tenants choosing to leave aging office towers. That has the City of Halifax considering a grant program to encourage developers to convert old offices into new apartments. Shayna Luck has the story.
The conversion of this downtown Halifax office building is still underway, with the developer estimating more than 140 units will be complete sometime next year. Now the city is wondering whether other buildings could do the same.
We don't have an office crisis, we have a housing crisis.
He says the city's planning to use some federal money to subsidize 2 or 3 test conversions.
Right now, when we're doing all of these many things that we're doing to try and get more units on the market faster, it seems like a smart thing to do to convert empty office space into residential that will be full as soon as it's done.
Details are still being worked out, but Mason thinks the benefits could include rapid housing and a low impact on the streetscape. Plus, advocates argue it's environmentally friendly when you don't tear down and rebuild. According to this expert, per capita, Halifax punches above its weight in conversions.
We've seen more conversions of office space in Halifax than in most other cities across Canada.
She says it's partly because housing is way more in demand than offices, but also because Halifax changed development requirements and there's a limited amount of vacant land downtown. These are 2 buildings that could be candidates for the pilot. The developer told the city it would like to convert them, but without a subsidy, it's too expensive. There are plenty of challenges to converting old offices, like adding more washrooms and natural light. The goal of a pilot program would be to work out some of those kinks.
We've been told by designers that any building could be converted. It's just the level of complexity.
The downtown office vacancy rate in Halifax right now is about 18%. Shayna Luck, CBC News, Halifax.
A new organization based on PEI wants to make it easier for young people in the Maritimes to play sports. Its goal is to take away the financial challenges that may prevent them from taking part. As Sheehan Desjardins tells us, the first person to benefit from the program is a young boy from Cape Breton.
The skates are tied, the helmet's on, the stick is taped. 7-year-old Leo from Cape Breton came ready to play.
Well, I came here for the Oyster Cup. It's a hockey tournament.
Leo's been playing hockey most of his life. He's pretty good at it too. That's him, number 87, just like Sidney Crosby. His dad says Leo's got a lot of fight in him, on the ice and off.
My son was diagnosed at 4 years old with a type of rare cancer. We went through a year of chemotherapy treatment, and then we thought we were out of the woods. We got to spend a year in remission, and then on a regular checkup we came back and the cancer came back.
Leo is still in treatment. That means he travels to the IWK Health Center in Halifax, and his dad says all of that is expensive, especially when you add hockey on top.
Last year of treatment, it was 1 week every 3 weeks, so added hotel and food, and for a whole week away, it's like taking a vacation every month. It gets pretty costly.
A new organization based in PEI wants to help families like the Knotts. It's called the Andrews Dream Big Assist Fund, run by Andrews Hockey. The goal is to take away barriers so young people can play the sports they love. Those barriers could be anything preventing kids from participating, like financial challenges or accessibility. The Knott family was the first recipient and got $16,000.
Leo and his family were going through a hard time over the last couple of years, and we just felt that it was an opportunity for us to help and to contribute and to help make their life a little bit easier.
Right now, the organization is focused mainly on young hockey players, but the goal is to expand.
Things aren't getting cheaper, for sure, for families. By no means are we limited to just connecting with hockey players, for sure, and helping families of hockey players.
Back on the ice, Leo is taking his dad's advice. Skate hard and skate fast. His dream is to be a professional hockey player one day. It's a big goal with tough odds, but Leo's already proven that he doesn't give up. Sheehan Desjardins, CBC News, Charlottetown.
And still with hockey, the head coach of the Winnipeg Jets has announced his retirement. Rick Bowness is originally from Halifax. He's leaving after nearly 40 years in hockey. Bowness spent the last 2 years with the Jets. He led the team to 52 wins, 24 losses, and 6 ties during this year's regular season. But during the playoffs, the Jets were eliminated by the Colorado Avalanche in 5 games in the first round. The 69-year-old's first NHL head coaching job was in 1988 with the original Jets franchise. During his long career, he also served as head coach of the Boston Bruins, Ottawa Senators, New York Islanders, Phoenix Coyotes, and Dallas Stars. His 2,726 games as a coach are the most in NHL history. The East Coast Music Awards wrapped up yesterday in Halifax with plenty of wins for Nova Scotia artists. Jen Grant nabbed Songwriter and Song of the Year for her tune Judy. Morgan Toney from Wagmatcook First Nation took home 2 awards as well, Indigenous Artist of the Year and Traditional Recording of the Year. Other Nova Scotia winners include Maggie Andrew, Neon Dreams, and Rich O'Coin. More than 40 awards were handed out at this year's festival, and of course, lots of musical performances. Next year's ECMAs will take place in St. John's, Newfoundland. And CBC Nova Scotia brought home some wins at the Atlantic Journalism Awards in Halifax this weekend. This program, CBC News Nova Scotia, won gold for a television newscast produced by Dave Squires on May the 29th. For sports reporting, the Atlantic Voice documentary To the Moon took home the gold, produced in part by our Dave Irish and Emma Smith. Congratulations to all the winners and, of course, the nominees. Coming up, more on Hamas accepting a Gaza ceasefire proposal brokered by Egypt and Qatar in its war with Israel. Donald Trump has warned he risks jail time if he violates a gag order again at his hush money trial in New York. Here now, a peek at Morris Lake in Dartmouth. The fishermen are out for sure, the kids too. That is Ryan back with your full weather forecast right after this quick break. All right, Ryan with us now after, quite a weekend. Should we talk about it? Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, listen, it was fantastic. Lots of sunshine.
I was talking about the Leafs, actually.
Oh.
Sorry. Maybe it's too soon.
Well,
yeah. Better days ahead, including in the weather forecast, Ryan. Let's keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I was going on a positive note. Yeah, no, listen, as a Habs fan, you had to for sure. And I didn't even wear my jersey on the air this year, too. So
maybe that's
if I wear it, if I don't wear it, it doesn't matter. They still end up losing. Anyway, brighter days ahead indeed. I mean, it was a beautiful weekend other than that in Leafland with so much sunshine. But then that wet weather today.
Yep.
which was much needed, as we said. Have a look at Peggy's Cove right now. You can see fog patches there right now, and that fog is going to be rolling in, and we will be seeing fog in the mix overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Just 7 degrees there along the coast with those milder temperatures inland. And as we look at the current temps, you can see double digits in the metro area. Kentville's at 12, Greenwood's at 12, Kedgey's at 13. That's our hotspot currently. As we look at the winds in from the south, and yeah, that was really the name of the game yesterday. Much cooler along the Atlantic coastline on Sunday, which of course northerly winds were the kind of the force on Saturday. Now as we look at the satellite radar picture, things looking pretty cloudy right now. A couple of lingering spits of drizzle and those fog patches overnight tonight, but this is generally going to be clearing out into tomorrow morning. Some isolated shower chances perhaps tomorrow morning for you folks in Inverness County, but then we are going to be clearing out indeed. We've got this area of high pressure that's going to be settling in. Now, note this storm system set up here stretching all the way down to the U.S. south into the Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas region. I don't normally zoom in, but I just have to make note that this unfortunately looks like a story that we're going to be likely hearing in the news as we move into the tomorrow timeframe. Very likely that this is going to be a high tornado outbreak with some very strong tornadoes potentially across western and northern Oklahoma tonight. So our fingers are crossed that that is not the case, but a very strong storm setup there with the jet stream overhead, very warm air clashing with drier air and colder air coming in from the north. And that is one that unfortunately I think we're going to be talking about in the news as we move into tonight and tomorrow. So our fingers are crossed for those folks dealing with that situation down there. 7, 8, and 9 degrees across mainland Nova Scotia tonight. We'll see 5 and 6 degrees across Cape Breton. And again, fog patches are going to be in the mix. We'll see some drizzle as well. And as we move into the overnight, the clouds still hanging on. Tomorrow morning, still hanging on, and some fog patches, low-level cloud to contend with tomorrow morning. Again, some drizzle chances as well. Best chances for a shower will be Inverness County, and then we're clearing. And by even lunchtime, looks like we'll have cleared out very nicely. Mostly sunny skies, a few clouds into the afternoon, but it is going to be a fantastic day. Now, the winds are going to be northwest tomorrow, so you folks in Inverness are going to be feeling that. There's that morning shower chance there. 10 in places like Cheticamp, Port Hood, but Port Hawkesbury likely up into 14, 15, 16 degrees away from that northwest flow from Richmond County into the Sydney metro area. 16, 17 across a good portion of the mainland. You folks, Tatamagouche, even right along the coast in through the Pictou area, it's going to be more like 12, 13 with that onshore wind there. Anywhere from 16 to 18 degrees across most of central Nova Scotia. A little bit of an onshore wind in places like Parsboro. And we'll be seeing, again, a bit cooler of an onshore wind for the valley tomorrow as well. Yarmouth near 14, Bridgewater near 20 degrees tomorrow. That is likely going to be our hotspot. We'll be right in and around the Bridgewater area. Similar setup, I think, for our hotspot being around Bridgewater on Wednesday. Temperatures ranging, again, from around 14 to 18 in most cases, a little cooler in the north and east with a bit more of a northerly flow, which will set up on the other side of that frontal boundary that comes through. And then we are going to be watching some shower chances. System passing to our south, but we'll be into the mix here with showers not only Thursday, but also likely for Friday and also likely Saturday, and some cooler air wrapping in on the backside of this storm, weather system. And so as a result, temperatures really cooling off as well for this time of year. That's cool to see, single-digit highs. But the wet weather will take it, clearing as we move into the latter half of the weekend. So yes, indeed, Tom, brighter skies ahead.
Habs didn't even make the playoffs this year, Ryan.
It's true. I didn't want to bring that up.
You've reminded me several times.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Well, stores across North America took part in Free Comic Book Day over the weekend. In Dartmouth, fans donned costumes of their favorite characters and flocked to their local comic shop to mark the occasion.
Today is Free Comic Book Day. It's important because, first, it's great to get kids into comic books. It's a way to trick kids into reading. It worked for me in the 80s, and it's great because it helps small businesses like us survive.
We like to support local, and the kids are getting into comics, so it's a great way to encourage reading as well, and it's a fun community event.
I have been coming here since I was like 7 for Free Comic Book Day. I've always loved it. Usually came here with my dad.
Well, how it works is all the major publishers get together and they each pick out one of their big titles for the year, and they sell it to us at a much greater discount than normal so that we can afford to give it away free to all the people.
The Cursed Library seems interesting too. I love the artwork on it.
It's advertising for them, it's advertising for us. Hopefully people will buy the free one, and then I think I'll buy the full price comic that leads out of that.
I've loved it since I was little, and I'm still here, so that's a good sign.
Nowadays, it's cool to be geeky and have passion about stuff. Back in the day, not so much, but it's cool to see people, different ages, different races, different sex. Everyone loves comic books, and it's really cool now.
That looked like a lot of fun. Up next, I'll talk with Nurses Union President Janet Hazelton about how nurse-to-patient ratios could help alleviate burnout in the healthcare profession. That is our Newsmaker interview. Stay with us. You are watching CBC Nova Scotia News. Workload for nurses is a big topic at their union's annual general meeting in Truro. They complain that many hospital units are severely understaffed, but recently added language to their latest contract is offering hope. Janet Hazelton is president of the Nova Scotia Nurses Union. Ms. Hazelton, for those who aren't that familiar with it, can you remind people about the staffing language that was negotiated in the last contract for acute care nurses?
Yeah, so for the last 20 years, we've been asking for guaranteed nurse-patient ratios. And what that means is guaranteed on this floor, we will have this many RNs, this many LPNs, Monday through 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it bakes in how many nursing staff are going to be on a particular unit. Now, it's unique to the unit, for sure. So you could have 3 different surgical units. One is an orthopedic, one is general surgery. The orthopedic may require more nursing staff because the patients tend to have bigger surgeries like hips and knee replacements and shoulder. And so they require more physical. So they may have more nursing staff than a floor that has gallbladders and those other kinds of surgeries. So what we achieved, which we're very proud of, and we're only the second province in the country, is a guaranteed on this unit in this hospital, we, the employer, will guarantee you this amount of nurses on days, nights, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
So in a world of shortages around nurses, how good is that guarantee?
Well, it's something we can hold them accountable to. But more importantly, the second guarantee that came with it is if nurses on a particular unit feel that that decision to have those many nurses is not enough, they need more help, they'll be able to fill out forms. The investigation will happen, which will include them. And then a recommendation will go to a decision-making committee, which I will be part of, that will look at potentially increasing nursing staff. That is a much better way than what we used to have, where like people would fill out forms and then it would just get lost somewhere. That's not going to happen in the future because that committee, that decision-making committee, is going to meet every second month. And the committee that's looking at the workloads is meeting every month. So there is a solid commitment to making the nurse life balance more balanced, but more importantly, safer, because the more nurses you have, the less likely someone's going to get hurt, and a better place to work because you know I'm going to work today and I have X amount of patients because that's what I'm guaranteed. And so I don't expect to double that. Some of our nurses can look after up to 10 patients, which is very frustrating for the nurse and very frustrating for the patient because obviously they're not getting the care they need and they deserve. This should help alleviate that.
Okay, you mentioned that advisory committee and you alluded to the fact that it's in a couple of other provinces. Do you have any sense of how effective it is?
Well, BC is the only other province that has patient ratios, and they're just starting just like us. They were just able to achieve it just like us. However, California's had it for over 20 years, and California's injury rate is lower, their violence is lower, and they have no issues with recruiting nurses because nurses want to go to a place where they can give good care. And if we're hoping nurses from other provinces even will look to say, Nova Scotia has nurse-patient ratios. Maybe that's somewhere I want to go, so I won't be as likely to get hurt, and I'll have a guaranteed workload because workload is significant. It's a huge issue that nurses struggle with because they go home after 12 hours and say, I didn't do good work today. And that's not a nice feeling. And I didn't do good work because I was spread too thin. I had too many patients, too many people looking for me. And we're hoping that this will control that and hopefully eliminate it so that nurses feel good about what they do.
And so when you look at that kind of big picture, the timing of this, where there are recruiting drives on for nurses, I know there have been for a while, but hopefully there's some success coming that way and maybe more nurses. Can you speak to the timing of why it's important to get this right now?
Because like we need nurses now. There is a global competition for nurses. That everyone knows that. And we need to be, we're a small province. We need to be able to say we're as good as anyone else. In fact, we're better. And these kinds of moves, like guaranteeing unions, patient ratios, is more likely to attract new nurses to come here or for our nurses to stay here, because there's a light at the end of the tunnel, finally. Because this is a commitment that's in our contract. So it's once it's in a contract, it's very difficult to get out of contract. We've never had that before. We've had quasi commitments, but this is something, it's a legal document that's been signed, and it's a promise that this government, these employers have made to these nurses in this province.
All right, Janet Hazelton, we will leave it there. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Coming up, an Ottawa area tulip farm had to destroy 500,000 bulbs after being infected by a fungus. Turning now to a number of big developments today in the war between Israel and Hamas. Israel ordered about 100,000 people to leave an eastern part of Rafah, saying it's preparing for what it called a limited scope operation against Hamas. But later in the day, Hamas announced it had accepted a ceasefire proposal brokered by Egypt and Qatar. The CBC's Richard Madden reports from Washington.
Well, the White House reacting with caution in response to that proposed ceasefire deal accepted by Hamas. National Security spokesperson John Kirby confirmed President Joe Biden was briefed and the administration is reviewing it. But he wouldn't say if the U.S. supports or rejects what's on the table, only saying talks are at such a critical stage right now and he doesn't want to say anything to jeopardize it from crossing the finish line.
I'm just not going to get ahead of the process. We want to get these hostages out. We want to get a ceasefire in place for 6 weeks. We want to increase humanitarian assistance, and the last thing that I want to do is say anything at this podium that's going to put that process at risk.
No details on this proposal have been made public, but the White House confirmed other key details. CIA Director Bill Burns was involved in negotiations, and that President Biden's 30-minute call this morning with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu happened before news broke of this proposal. But analysts have since pointed out we've only heard from one side, Hamas. Nothing from the Israelis yet, but they're reportedly reviewing it now. So there's a sense of skepticism. Some analysts have since pointed out this could all be spin from Hamas designed to portray the Israelis as not acting in good faith. Here's how Kirby responded to that question.
You know who hasn't answered a single question about his intentions and what games he might be playing or where he intends to take this? Mr. Sinwar, the head of Hamas. And I think it's high time that he answers some of these questions and he come clean about what his intentions are. I don't know. All I know is we've got a response. Bill Burns is looking at that response. He's talking to the Israelis about it, and we'll see where this goes.
Now, Kirby also noted President Biden urged Prime Minister Netanyahu to scrap the Israeli military's operations in Rafah, a move that could derail a temporary pause to the fighting. Richard Madden, CBC News, Washington.
The Prime Minister and the leader of the Conservative Party spoke today at a commemoration service marking Holocaust Remembrance Day. They spoke not just about the horrors of the Holocaust when Nazis murdered 6 million Jews during the Second World War, but also about the current rise of anti-Semitism in Canada.
People have felt unsafe to live openly Jewish lives in Canada, and that's not right. Let me be clear. In a country like Canada, it should be, and it must be, safe to declare oneself a Zionist.
You must be allowed to live fearlessly and proudly Jewish lives.
The leaders talked as the Jewish group B'nai B'rith released figures showing that anti-Semitic incidents in Canada increased by 109% between 2022 and 2023. Nova Scotia has the biggest percentage increase, followed by Manitoba. B'nai B'rith said there were over 5,700 anti-Semitic incidents last year. It appears that WestJet will avoid a potential strike that could have upended the airline's schedule. The airline company said it reached a tentative deal with the union representing mechanics late last night. It will now go to members of the Aircraft Mechanics Fraternal Association for a vote. If both sides ratify the contract, it will be the first approved collective bargain agreement between WestJet and the Aircraft Mechanics Fraternal Association. The union, representing about 670 maintenance engineers and other skilled workers, said wages and layoff protection were among the top issues in negotiations. Donald Trump has been warned he risks jail time if he violates a gag order again at his hush money trial in New York. The former U.S. president was fined $1,000 today and held in contempt of court for the 10th time. The gag order bars Trump from speaking publicly about the jury, prosecutors, and witnesses. After the ruling, jurors heard from a former Trump Organization financial officer about business and banking dealings that could bolster the prosecution's case. Trump faces 34 counts of falsifying business records tied to accusations that he covered up a $130,000 payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels to bury her story about a sexual encounter with him. Trump has pleaded not guilty to all charges. First Nations are digging in for another potentially devastating wildfire season. Ottawa has promised millions in federal support and training, but for now, firefighters are using whatever they have on hand. Sam Sampson takes us into the front lines.
In a wildfire, this force and this force save entire ecosystems.
I love trees, right? So when I see them burn, I don't like that.
so I like to go out and, the aspect of saving nature is really heartwarming, I guess.
But saving people and homes is what inspired Calvin Charles to take up firefighting. 8 years ago, his own home in northern Saskatchewan was almost destroyed.
After getting evacuated and stuff, I didn't really like it, and I felt like helpless.
So he and others from around the north are learning to use what they can to protect their homes. Water from a half-frozen lake to douse flames. Pickaxes to manually dig fire breaks when machines just can't get to them. Ottawa recently set aside $175 million for First Nations to deal with this and future fire seasons. And it wants standardized firefighting training in First Nations by next year. A tough ask when some places still don't have basic infrastructure.
And there's some communities, especially rural and remote communities, that even have access coming in and out to get training. And we have to keep that all in the back of our minds, that not everybody's downtown Toronto.
Ottawa says wildfire caused the evacuation of more than 90 First Nations last year. This year, it's giving each First Nation in Alberta money to hire an emergency management coordinator. The money could be crucial for the Athabasca Chippewa First Nation. Some areas can only be evacuated by air or water, and right now boats could get trapped by low water levels.
People in the community say that they've never seen it this bad in their lifetime. The whole community is at risk if there was a forest fire that burnt out of control.
That fear of getting stuck keeps these men going, to keep the fires at bay, to save lives and their homes. Sam Sampson, CBC News, on the shores of Lac La Planche, Saskatchewan.
Spring is bursting into bloom across parts of the country, but a tulip farm in the Ottawa area has been forced to destroy 500,000 bulbs. The season ruined and hundreds of thousands of dollars lost. Rochelle Elsefi has the story.
It's been a tough week for Munya Bastian. She's having to do what every tulip farmer fears, having to destroy her entire crop. About 11 days ago, she noticed 2/3 of her field was infected by what's known as tulip fire.
So I called our tulip grower and I contacted them, and they're like, sorry, but you're going to have to treat it like the plague.
The fungal disease that only affects tulips soon infected every bulb on her farm.
So actually when it comes up, this is what it looks like. Yeah, so see how it comes up a little bit mottled and purple. Looks quite damaged. So this is our garbage right now. Yeah, so it's kind of sad.
Now her field looks like this. Dramatically different than this time last year, where her Green Corners farm usually kicks off its you-pick tulip season. Normally, she says, tulip fire is isolated to 1 or 2 tulips, but the warm winter, lack of snow cover was the perfect storm to exacerbate its spread. And it's not just affecting this tulip season, but the next few. Bastian says even though she's wiped out 500,000 bulbs, she still won't be able to grow any tulips for at least 3 to 5 years, as the spores can persist in the soil.
So we're going to be looking for an alternative. I think we're pretty sure we're just going to rent some farmland for the next couple of years and then come back to the farm for our seasons in future years.
While watching her field go barren was heartbreaking for her, there's also a financial impact. She says the cost of the bulbs were around $200,000, not including a lost revenue of up to $150,000.
I'm just going to be so sad. I think most what I'm going to miss the most is everybody coming, because it was so fun meeting new people. I hear so many stories, and yeah, I think people come here to enjoy the tulips, but I actually enjoy the people so much when they come for a visit.
Fortunately, not all is lost. They've planted double the amount of sunflowers, 200,000 of them. That's expected to bloom come July.
They also have more than 40 varieties of summer flowers, hoping the people that would have joined them for the tulip season comes out to enjoy the summer flower season. Rochelle Elsefi, CBC News, Ottawa.
Canada's main stock index gained more than 300 points today in a broad-based rally. Here's a quick look at the markets. Ryan back with us now to wrap things up. Don't know what anybody else, but I'm kind of looking forward to tomorrow, I got to say.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those days where if you can, get an extended lunch break, maybe a lap around the building, even if you have your regular lunch break, just try and get out for sure. Or work through your lunch and maybe get out a little early. Just whatever you can do, try and soak up a little bit of the sun and the warmth tomorrow, because it is going to be lovely. More on that in a sec. Let's first show you our viewer picture of the day. And this one in the HRM, we're going to zoom in near Hubli to Five Island Lake.
Speaking of the sun, that's a nice little shot, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
The water's so calm, too.
Morning shot there. Looks like maybe just a little bit of fog still left on the lake there at that time. Leva, thank you very much for sharing this. Ryan's picks at cbc.ca. And certainly the fog will be on the go tomorrow morning with some, drizzle early on as well, the potential anyway. But it looks like by late morning, we're into the sunshine. The afternoon looks fantastic. Temperatures widespread, 16, 17, and 18 degree temperatures. Bit cooler in those onshore winds, which will be generally in from the west and northwest tomorrow. We are going to be seeing, some temps closer to the coast, right near the coast, near 10 to 12. And then a little bit inland, 14, you know the drill. 14 to 16 across Cape Breton for tomorrow as well. Wednesday also looks lovely, not quite as warm, ticking down a few degrees in many cases with just a little bit more of a northerly component to the wind, but back into the high teens along the South Shore region, and it is going to be lovely indeed. Maybe a bit more cloud in the mix as well. So there's how the skies clear out tomorrow morning. We're looking at a very isolated chance of a shower Tuesday night in the northeast. Back to the sunshine Wednesday. There's that building cloud into the afternoon, and then we're really adding in those shower chances for Thursday. And it looks like just a bit of an unsettled setup for Thursday, Friday, and into Saturday, and some cooler northeast winds wrapping in the cooler temps, as you can see. High single, low double digits to end the week and to start the weekend. But it does look like cautiously optimistic at this point that we'll clear the skies somewhat on Sunday, at least a drier day for sure. And temperatures trending back up as we turn the page into mid-May.
Hey, yeah, it's still, as you say, still early.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks so much, Ryan. Well, China has launched an ambitious mission to the far side of the moon. Take a look at this. The uncrewed spacecraft lifted off on Friday. The nearly 2-month mission aims to retrieve lunar rocks and soil from the side facing away from Earth. China is the first country to make such an attempt.
The plan is for a lander to reach the lunar surface and scoop up rocks and soil using a robotic arm. The samples will then be returned to the orbiter, which will carry them back to Earth.
That's far out there, isn't it?
Indeed.
That's it for us tonight. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night.